What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you are having an amazing Monday. So this is the conclusion, part 3 to the Love and Marriage Huntsville season 6 reunion. And it picks up right where part 2 left off. Miss Betty and Melody going at it. And I feel like Miss Betty, I don't know if it's her generation, but she reminds me a lot of Miss Wanda, where they're just really defensive, angry, toxic, and immature. And they kept coming at Melody. And I'm thinking it's because, Melody is one of the executive producers of the show. I feel like they view her as a threat. Miss Betty did everything but stick her tongue out. She was mocking her. And it came from a place of, immaturity. Melody was like, grow up, Miss Betty. She's like, shame on you. No, I will say, I will give Miss Betty credit when she told Melody, you still arguing with a man that you've been divorced from for 3 years, because that was valid. Like Martell and her continuously getting into it throughout the reunion, it was ridiculous. Like the way I would have paid him dust and kept it pushing. But again, I understand that, this is the father of her 4 children. She spent 14 years, or she was married 14 years. I think they met and was dating in college. So that's a huge chunk of her life. So it may be a little bit more difficult to get over. And I want to give Melody grace. But yeah, Miss Betty is toxic. They were asking her about her relationship with her sister, Aunt Lisa. And, Miss Betty, there was a lot of hurt in her voice. You could tell she was like, I went to hug her. She wasn't receptive. I'm hoping that Stormi can take some of that money from Campus Beauty and really sit down with a good family therapist with her mom and her aunt. Because if she wants to mend that, I feel like there's a lot of, maybe even unresolved childhood trauma there. Dr. Francis was, one of my favorite therapists on the show. The fact that he had Martell open up to the point where he was calling Ariane a peasant on television, and just seeing Dr. Francis's face, and he asked him to run it back. He was like, did you mean that? Did you really say that on national television? And Martell, of course, being smug and arrogant as he was, knowing that Ariane wasn't going to go anywhere, he repeated it. But Dr. Francis, out of all the therapists that they had, he was my favorite. He, helped people to open up, and he really was really insightful. So maybe she can contact him and sit down with her family to really get some much needed healing and resolution. Moving on. So they asked Tisha why she didn't invite Nell and Chris to the Black Business Expo. And Marceau, he's just he's a mess. I feel like he has just embraced this completely unserious villain that, people have claimed that he is. He knows, again, that Tisha's not going anywhere. But he said that when he was talking with Chris was telling him that he had different businesses, real estate, janitorial services. And the fact that he omitted his wife was sexist. And Carlos and everybody clocked it like, Carlos was like, that's rich coming from you. And everybody laughed. But Marceau, Maurice, which I'm grateful he was quiet this last portion of the reunion, which was helpful. But they're all sexist. I feel like a lot of the men, most of them, with the exception of maybe Courtney on here, but most of the men on Carlos King's show are sexist. Unfortunately, they're really chauvinistic. Okay, so then Carlos goes on to say the biggest question that he got about the Houston trip that the Fletchers hosted was, who was the lady that Martell invited to come at, after midnight? And he said that she was a massage therapist. Boy, if you don't, okay, Martell. Oh, goodness gracious. So then, Melody charges or, challenges him, and she's like, well, where was the massage table and blah, blah, blah. And they're going back and forth. And he's like, well, and then Kimmy is her ops. Kimmy is the ops for real. Kimmy's like, well, she was like, Melody, didn't you get a massage too? Just out of nowhere. Like her and Maurice was over in the cut quiet. But I'm telling you, like, oh my goodness, Kimmy. She is so, and I don't want to say like she's a pick me like everybody. I don't want to drag her because she's already had enough with her cancer scare. But I'm like, she is so male centered. Women like that are really dangerous. They are. She didn't challenge anybody else. She never challenges men. She always got Martell's back. I'm like, girl, bye. But anyway, Mel said that she has an app that she uses on her phone, and she, chose a female massage therapist, and she goes into like this long, detailed explanation. And so Martell's like, yeah, I did that too. Which was funny. I mean, I know he was trying to bring levity and light, being lighthearted. But just, Melody and Martell going back and forth, and them talking about who cheated on who and when was it. Melody's like, well, it was 2014, 2015. And I'm sitting here like, not in season 6. Not in season 6. Are y'all still talking about who cheated on who, and y'all been divorced for 3 years? That's what I'm saying. Going back to Miss Betty, a broken clock, is right twice a day. Like, no, we will not be discussing post divorce on the 3rd year on the side talking about who cheated on who in season 6. Like, no, absolutely not. And I know the Love and Marriage Huntsville has been renewed, which is great. I need Carlos and Melody, and I know they're on tour right now, but if they could, focus on new relationships for both her and Martell. You know what I mean? Like, Nell, Tisha, Kimmy, Stormi, can y'all, try to find Melody somebody new so that she's not sitting on national TV arguing with her ex-husband of 3 years about when she cheated and who and what massage table. And I was like, no, we're not carrying this over into season 7. Absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, Nell said it was disrespectful that he brought somebody to the house. And Carlos asked Nell when she found out that Chris was cheating on her. Now, granted, their cheating situation happened a lot longer than 3 or 6, years ago. I think they said it was like around 15, 20 years ago, something like that. And, but, Nell, she, Marcel was like, welcome to Marriage Huntsville reunion. Carlos was like, yeah, welcome to the reunion. But she said, that she found out, somebody told her, and she confronted Chris. She said that she saw a lot of Chris, he was younger, in Martell. And I think that's why Martell was so salty, because he really thought that Nell was going to be, or he wanted Melody to be like Nell Fletcher, maybe be separated from him for a while. She said, she separated from Chris for 18 months, but eventually take him back and deal with that foolishness. Not everybody's built like that. You know what I mean? Nell said that she's old school, and, the old school, the old school anthems, Mr. Charlie is just a man and he's doing the best he can. Okay, well, listen, this is the year of our Lord 2024. And what we are not going to do is deal with Mr. Charlie, deal with, he's a good man, Savannah. The only good man I see on that whole panel, real talk, in my opinion, is Courtney. Okay. And the fact that Courtney and Stormi have different last names is very interesting. Like, I don't know why no one's asked them about that, but and Big Lou. I'm sorry, Big Lou's, he's a good man too. But I'm curious as to why they have different last names. Just me being nosy. But if somebody knows, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the reunion, the messiness of it. I am hoping that Melody moves on from dealing with Martell. I understand they have to co-parent, but She's like, well, I've never, seen someone is so concerned about somebody's for JJ and, that doesn't belong to them anymore. But yeah, why would she care about him getting a massage or, going back and forth about who he's dating? No one cares. It's been, 3 years since the divorce and the separation, but I can tell, that she still cares a little bit, a lot of bit, to be honest. Because yeah, again, I'm not in her situation. I don't have 4 kids, and I wasn't married to a man that was cheating for years and years and years. So I can't, but I was hoping that she would move on and pay him dust. Like I said, I'm hopeful for season 7 that they focus on new relationships. I don't know. Is Martell going to be with us? He's come for, Carlos. You guys know that I made an earlier video with him and his mugshot. I don't know if he's going to be sentenced for that or the, revenge P. So, we shall see in the future if Mr. Martell Holt is going to join us. But Kiki and Tisha go at it. Kiki's very open and transparent about the 2 major struggles that she's had on the show was, her fidelity in her marriage and her prescription pill use. But, people were saying, did she use Tisha for a storyline? I don't know. I think that hopefully her and Tisha can, again, get some healing. But Carlos thanked everybody for showing up, and wrapped it up. I enjoyed it. But you guys, I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk with you in the next video. Take care, Aces. Bye.